Welcome to the Dillweed Society podcast. My name is Max, and my favorite movie is All That Jazz.
My name is Megan, and my favorite movie is Hoodwinked.
Whoa, what was Hoodwinked?
Hoodwinked is, it has Anne Hathaway in it. I'm pretty sure it was made in 2006, and it's a great animated movie. It's a remaking of the Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh my god.
And I would listen to it all the time with my siblings. Well, not listen to it, watch it in the car. Long road trips all throughout the Midwest, basically. And it has this wonderful place in my heart. And it has that guy who, he does all the voice acts of a ton of major characters in Disney and Pixar movies. He was Kronk and Emperor's New Groove.
Oh
and
my god.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
He's one of the major characters. He's so funny. Yeah, with Patrick Warburton. Yeah, he's in that. There's some really fantastic voice actors in there, and it is one of the funniest movies. Even as adults, we go back and watch it and still laugh. There's still jokes that we haven't realized yet. So it's definitely lifetime favorite.
This is a really gnarly animation style.
It is. It's really it's something to behold. Also throughout the years since we were younger.
Yeah, I mean, it probably was not as bad as it is now. In 2006.
No, it was cutting edge. It looked 3D.
Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Do you want to say what movie we're talking about today?
Yeah, today we're talking about The Glass Onion, which is the second version and what I guess will hopefully be a series of the Knives Out films.
Yeah, do you know the story behind how this came out?
No.
So it was greenlit by Lionsgate, the company that produced the original Knives Out movie. And then in the middle of that, Netflix bought the rights to 2 Knives Out sequels.
Whoa, okay, so there is for sure going to be a third movie.
One.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know, after I learned that, I feel like that made the movie worse to me. Because the idea that any series or movie is going to become this homogenous tube of content is very saddening to me.
That seems to be Netflix's whole model, though.
Yeah.
Find one good thing and then
just turn it into infinite content.
Yeah, just grocery store shelves that you keep pulling from, and there's never an end to the line. But do you think that affects the quality of so if they get greenlit for 2 more, let's say, do you think that affects any quality in the second one, knowing that a third one is for sure in the works? Or do you think it would have been better if they didn't know if they were going to get a third one, so they just pour it all into the second one?
It made me look more harshly on the flaws of this movie, because it made me think that those flaws were going to be indicative of the way that the series was trending, knowing that there was going to be another one.
Yeah, and I didn't know that there was going to be another one when we watched it. But it was weird when we went to the theater to see the big Netflix N on the screen. I think I turned to you and I was like, what? Because you're in a theater, and I don't think I've ever seen the dun-dun Netflix N showing up on a theater screen.
Yeah.
Feels weirdly, I don't know, Hollywood dystopic. Two realms crossing. You're at home streaming and the in-theater experience.
There was a antitrust law about how film studios could not own movie theaters that was struck down recently.
Oh, wow.
In the past 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I've never thought about that as being I never took antitrust. I'm a lawyer. I never took antitrust law, but my old roommate does antitrust work for the government. I want to ask him about this now, because of course it makes total sense that you wouldn't want movie theaters to be owned by production companies, for sure. I kind of like to think about movie theaters as libraries. I know they're not, but but more or less showing a wide variety of film from different production companies. Yeah, wow. Okay, that's so interesting.
Yeah,
but that's no longer.
It was United States versus Paramount in 1948. Was a ruling that said that basically, from what I remember,
by the Supreme Court.
Yeah, by the Supreme Court.
Oh, wow.
That Paramount could not have distribution and production rights. But in 2019, it was struck down. The Department of Justice issued a 2-year sunsetting notice for the Paramount decree in August of 2020, believing antitrust restriction was no longer necessary as the old model could never be recreated in contemporary settings.
I am confused about their jurisdiction on that. I would have to read more about it. Because, like, an agency can't just be like, we don't want to enforce a Supreme Court ruling anymore. Like, there must have been some provision within the Supreme Court ruling that was like, unless XYZ were to take place. And then the DOJ being like, XYZ has taken place. So we're going to say, okay, interesting.
But I think that it's interesting to see, like, movies that are produced specifically for online content being distributed in theaters. I think that this actually it became a thing that, like, Disney has started buying theaters around different places now that they are allowed to do that.
Part of me feels like really grossed out by that, but I also get that there's like a huge normal person audience out there that would love to go to like a Disney only theater. Like that's like bringing Disneyland, Disney World to your suburb.
Yeah. It's very frightening for like people who don't want to watch Marvel movies for the rest of their life.
Yeah, or like Moana and Star Wars, and there's some, there's good ones out there, but you can also see those in regular theaters.
So in some ways, like, Netflix and Amazon Studios are fighting against the man of like big Disney ruling all of the theaters.
It's like eye rolling my eyes this like far into the back of that. Like, this is not a David and Goliath situation. Let us not be mistaken. Also, how did this suddenly become a law podcast?
You're just like defaulting to talking about law.
Yeah, in my prior podcasting life.
Do you want to read the synopsis for Glass Onion?
I would love to. Oh, it's truly like one sentence. Okay. Detective Benoit Blanc travels to Greece to peel back the layers of a mystery involving a new cast of suspects. Did you think about how you made French onion soup tonight and we were going to be talking about the glass onion?
I didn't think about that at all.
We cut up so many onions.
Glass onions would make a terrible French onion soup. That would be so much cutting.
It would. I think fit more for machines than for humans.
You could make, machined glass onion soup. Would it be good?
Jury's still out. You let us know at home. Go ahead and try it.
What do you think of that synopsis? It's very straightforward, which I think is indicative of the movie as a whole,
Honestly, I think it is distracting to me that the writer of the synopsis so clearly is trying to make a joke with the peeling back the layers that it is actually like more about whoever wrote the synopsis than about the movie itself. Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, so we looked at the movie poster before we went in, and you did a really good job of being like Mediterranean somewhere, blah blah blah, and you were right, but we thought Morocco, but it was Greece, which is actually...
I think I said Monaco, actually.
Did you say Monaco?
Yeah.
Okay. Very much closer.
Not that much closer.
Is it not? Monaco's not that much closer than Morocco to Greece?
Monaco is north, and also a little bit. It's like bottom of France. So yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Closer.
Yeah. No, you were like, you nailed it. That was spot on. By looking at the poster, do you feel like after seeing the movie, you guessed what was, who the characters were, the posture? Did anything surprise you about it looking at it now?
I thought Edward Norton, I don't know. When I saw that he was in the poster, I was very aware of the fact that he was in the movie, and I did not expect that it would take him so long to be like, become a part of the movie.
Yeah.
He's the last main character to be introduced. Which
makes sense in a way, because he's this like mysterious box sending, billionaire, brainy kid, whatever, that like he would be the last one to kind of be introduced to the fray, because there's so much mystery surrounding him in the lead up to the reveal of like what the plot is going to be. What else is he in?
He's in tons of stuff. He's in all of the Wes Anderson movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He is in, like, have you seen Moonrise Kingdom? He's in that.
Yeah, so long ago.
He's the main character in Fight Club.
Oh, okay. See, I've never seen Fight Club.
He's in Birdman.
Never seen that.
My August, who's also been on the podcast, really loves the director of Birdman and was trying to get me to watch a movie of his tonight.
Oh my God, he's in Sausage Party. It's a real left turn.
He's like a big...
And Frida,
Stage
the dictator. Oh, no.
Yeah, who is he in The Dictator? I haven't seen that movie, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, oh, he was in this movie, American History X, where he played a neo-Nazi.
Okay. You know, he's got breadth.
Yeah, he's just like...
Easily hateable?
No, I mean, yes, he does play, like, kind of annoying characters now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he kind of kills every role that he's in. Like, I can't think of a bad performance by him, even though he's not, like, a super A-list actor.
So one of the questions I had written down for you is, like, who IRL does Miles, the character that he plays, remind you of? Because I feel like they drew from so many kind of, like, fuckboy billionaires.
Yeah.
Or, like, internet personalities.
So his character... Maybe before we go into the specifics, maybe we should just do, like, a little overview of, like, overall opinions and not try and spoil stuff.
Okay. This is an anti-spoiler podcast.
We have, like, a spoiler wall.
You have a spoiler wall.
So,
okay.
like, we do, like, general opinions, spoiler wall, tell people whether they should actually stop the podcast and go see it, or if they should just keep listening, and then continue podcasting and talk about specifics.
Okay.
This is a murder mystery, like Knives Out 1. Go see Knives Out 1.
So good.
It doesn't matter if you see this one, in my opinion, but go see that one.
I agree. I think it's one of the best films of the past 10 years. Is that crazy to say?
Yes, that's crazy to say. It's a really good movie.
I love that movie.
It's an awesome movie.
But I'm very partial to, like, murder mystery film noir style.
Especially if you like the murder mystery genre, it does a really good job of engaging with the tropes in that genre that hasn't really been alive for, like, 30 years.
Yeah. It's very evocative of past eras.
Yeah. And subverting those tropes, actually. It's just a really, really lovely movie that is very easy to rewatch. If you know anybody who has seen the movie, ask them if they want to rewatch it with you, and they'll say yes.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I would rewatch it right now.
Me too. And I've seen it, like, 4 times. Mm-hmm. This like that is a murder mystery. This one, don't watch it if you haven't seen the first one.
Yeah, you're gonna need... the only character that is in common is Detective Benoit Blanc, who's played by Daniel Craig, who does an okay job at his chosen accent.
He's having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I think that he's enjoying it a lot. He doesn't suck at it, but he's not... He's trying to do, like, a Louisiana, New Orleans Southern, which I think is very difficult, especially for English people such as himself to do. But he's the only character that is the commonality, but I think watching the first movie is really important to, like, provide basis to his character, because, as we'll talk about a little bit later, I guess, like, his affability in, like, the first 15 to 20 minutes of the film didn't make any sense. I was like, I know this character. Why is he, like, so turned around and mixed up? And then we get, like, the reveal of you know, the first twist of what the actual behind the scenes in the drama of the movie is and why he's acting that way. But I think, having seen it before, it created, like, an air around him and, like, kind of explained his popularity or, like, knownness to the other characters in the movie.
Totally. I'm in the position of saying that I don't know if this is a movie that I would say you have to go see, but it's also a movie that I think you should probably see before you listen to it, because any enjoyment that you will get out of the movie is going to get kind of cut up if you listen to the podcast before you watch it.
Yeah, cut up like an onion.
Cut up just like an onion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. I think I'm glad that we saw it. Like, we were excited about it. It wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
It was good. It just, you know, like many sequels, doesn't ever rise up to its predecessor.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is go see Knives Out 1.
Yeah.
And after that, make your own decision as to whether you want to listen to the podcast.
And also, maybe you definitely don't have to see Glass Onion in theaters.
No. It's coming out on Netflix in December.
Yeah,
like December
23rd.
23rd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can wait and you can watch it on Christmas.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, spoiler wall is coming down, so now we are fully spoiling the rest of the movie.
Yes.
Who did the murder?
Who did the murder? Okay, well, there was a few attempted murders and then 2 actual murders. So the murder that spurred this whole situation of Andy was done by the dipshit bad guy with Miles.
Miles, who was the impetus for bringing up the spoiler wall in the first place.
Yes. And then the murder of hulking Meninist weird guy Duke, also from Miles.
Oh, he killed both of them.
He killed both of them. Were there any other deaths?
No. There were deaths that weren't actually deaths.
Yeah, like he also tried to shoot Helen.
Helen.
Which is Andy's twin sister, who was impersonating Andy for the purpose of, I don't know, revenge, extortion. Not extortion, but...
Justice.
Yeah. Honestly, Janelle Monáe ate in that movie. She, if you go see that movie, which I hope by this point you have, if you've listened beyond the spoiler wall, like, she makes the whole film.
Mm-hmm.
And her funny back and forth with Daniel Craig is... chef's kiss. So it is a joy.
It's really perfect. She must have had so much fun doing this. I always feel that way about any actor who gets in a role that's like you're playing 2 versions of the same character, which she does because she plays 2 twins. The characters that she plays are so different, totally opposite. I think it just looked like she was having a lot of fun and killing both of the roles separately.
Oh, such good use of the word killing. Yeah, I mean, her playing Helen with that like Southern accent, that is a lot more like South Carolinian. I'm sure that in the movie they actually say where they're from, but I just don't remember. Like she is loving it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, she did really excellent. So that's who did the murders. It was really just Miles the whole time, the like sniveling like idiot who's riding on the coattails of all of like the great Black women before him, and then like genius detectives and everything. I mean, it was really just like a story about a like hapless white guy stealing the labor of a Black woman.
Yeah. I think that was something that I thought the first movie engaged with really well, because that was sort of the reveal at the end of the movie. Was how in the first movie, the reveal at the end is like all of the members of the family who appear to be like progressive or like on the side of the main character, who's played by Ana de Armas, are in fact at the end of the day loyal to like maintaining this legacy that they're all a part of, just basically taking inheritance money from their grandfather. And I think that made the reveal at the end very biting and like a more punchy social commentary, whereas this movie starts out already sort of engaging with the fact that all of the main characters are hypocrites.
It's very silly. This is a much more silly movie than the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that the pointing out of hypocrisy in this movie is so much more on the nose and almost clownish than in the first movie, where it's actually like darkly relatable.
Yeah, like the one of the first scenes is, what's her name?
Andy?
Not Andy. Her.
Claire.
Is her name Claire?
The played by Catherine Hahn,
Yeah, Catherine Hahn. Yeah, Claire.
the politician, the governor. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Birdie.
Oh, Birdie, played by Kate Hudson.
But played by Kate Hudson. Yeah. Birdie is hosting this like gigantic party.
Oh God, yeah.
It's so funny. And the one thing I didn't mention that I wish I had mentioned in the outline portion was that this movie is like actually explicitly set during the pandemic.
Oh God, yeah.
I've seen a lot of discourse about whether movies ought to like acknowledge the fact that there was a pandemic that happened and whether that's something that people want to see. I thought that this movie engaged with that hilariously.
Yeah, me too.
She's hosting this gigantic party in the middle of the pandemic.
And they tell you, it's like that, like hover text over the first scene is like May 2020. So it's like freshly pandemic. There's no vaccine.
Yeah.
I didn't even really catch wind of the fact that she was holding a party during that time. It really, like, her particular stance on the pandemic came when, like, they all are rolling up to, like, the yacht side dock in Greece, and her mask is just, it's just this, like, bejeweled mesh that, like, covers her face, but not really. And it made me think about, like, all those, like, early videos and photos of, like, makeshift masks that people would make, but not, like, in earnestness, in the, like, they had to make a mask that they would, like, cut down the middle because they couldn't, like, it was hard for them to, like, breathe or whatever, and, like, people would use, like, old socks or just, like, the craziest things.
Yeah. I've seen people wearing those, like, it's like there's a maybe 1/2-inch hole between every strand of the mask.
Yeah.
It's like it's the loosest possible mesh. It's like a fishing net.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And that's exactly what she was wearing.
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious, and that said so much about her character in a way that was very relatable and that I've never seen depicted in a movie before.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did she remind you of people that you know or somebody?
Nobody that I know.
Yeah.
But definitely people that I've seen, like, in public.
Yeah, her approach to the pandemic definitely reminded me of some people that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Bautista's character as well. He's introduced. What's his name? His name is Duke.
Mm-hmm.
He's introduced.
Oh God.
And he's like.
He's someone that, like, you should be reminded of, like, on the internet, right?
Yeah, it's very merciless, this movie, like, introducing his character too. Like, it introduces him, and he's hosting a Twitch stream where he's talking about how, like, liberals don't like boobs. Attractive women. Yeah. Liberals don't like boobs.
Yeah.
And then his mom, like, calls him because he's living in her basement. She's, like, telling him to do his laundry or whatever.
Yeah, she fucking washed it and was like, here, your laundry's ready. And he's like, Mom, what, blah, blah, blah. And, like, she smacks him. She's like, why are you talking to me like that? Like, it was absolutely, like, every story that we've heard about alt-right basement dwellers.
Yeah, it was funny. It was just, there was no build up to the joke. It felt like a very cheap joke early on in the movie. Not that there had to be, like, something greater, but it was very goofy in a way that I didn't expect.
And Whiskey being there too.
Oh yeah.
His girlfriend. Who was she played by? I almost wrote that down.
She's not in the IMDb credits?
She should be. She was in, is it Madeline Klein?
Yeah, Madeline Klein.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Whiskey. She was interesting. I'm so curious. Like, so I wrote down, and this is something I mentioned to you after we watched it, that I wish that, like, some of the more side characters had a bit more depth to them in the plot, because I felt like Whiskey, Peg, and then that weird guy that's just hanging out on the island. Like, I wish that they had, like, some twist or, like, some involvement, like, some depth, but they really didn't, especially Peg. Like, Whiskey had a little bit because of her, like, twist of her plot for sex, which we thought she was cheating on Duke with Miles, but it turns out she was actually working with Duke to seduce Miles to, like, get Duke's program to be on Miles's show, like, in his channel or whatever. So that was, like, a bit of a depth to her personality. And she ended up having, like, a whole conversation with Janelle Monáe's character about, like, you know, what she was hoping for in life, and how, you know, her involvement with Duke was really just, like, a means to an end, and, like, she doesn't really want her whole personality to be known as, like, basically, like, the busty girl that is, like, you know, validating the misogynist shit that her, like, bulked out boyfriend is talking about. But I felt like Peg, which is Birdie's assistant for, 12 years, she said? 10 years?
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, I really felt for her, and I felt like she could have had a lot more, like, exploration into her character, at least, like, some extra element brought in.
Yeah, I feel that way for a lot of the characters. Even, like, when they do have a story, like in the case of Whiskey, and they have, like, actual character depth, it feels kind of tangential to the actual plot, like, developments that are happening. like when I think about other murder mysteries, all of the character, like all of the traits about the characters are important or relevant in some way to their interactions with all the other characters and influence like their capacity to be part of the murder.
Mm-hmm. Just like Clue. That's what I think
Clue.
of.
Or Murder on the Orient Express.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Murder on
all
the
the
Nile.
Death on the Nile.
Death on the Nile, yeah.
Yeah. Like all of them have these characters who are both very complicated and have complicated motivations and also have the capacity to be like part of the murder. But I don't think there was any sort of sitting and stewing on who could have done the murder in this movie, any of the murders, in the way that there are in other murder mysteries. Like the plot just keeps going.
Yeah. The one thing that I think they did a really good job of is, I mean, I did have like a jump scare when Janelle Monáe's character, who we thought at the time was Andy, was shot in the dark, you know, right next to Daniel Craig. And that's where like the big twist comes in and we like reverse back and it's actually Helen saying, I want to avenge my sister's death. Nobody knows that she's dead. Did you feel like there were any kind of like weird plot holes or like poorly explained or unexplained aspects to this film?
Not that I saw.
One that made me kind of like go, was when Duke is like on his phone, it's in the living room and it's right before he drinks the it's not even poisoned, it's literally just with pineapple in it, which is what he's like deathly allergic to. The drink that Miles gives him knowing that it will kill him. He sees on his phone that Andy has died and he doesn't have a normal reaction.
No.
He like turns to Miles and is like, it continues the conversation that they had just been having about his like show being on Miles's network, and like started speaking about like Andy's death in euphemism to that. And I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense because you think that the woman that Janelle Monáe is Andy right now, and it's not, it's her twin sister. But like that doesn't, like, you didn't know she was dead before. You had no idea that, like, she had been missing. Like, you didn't know that Miles was involved in anything. And it felt weird to me that his reaction would be so understated about the magnitude of her death, sudden death. And then also, like, immediately turning to, like, excitement about, like, what it could mean for his, like, financial opportunities with Miles. It just seemed, like, completely unaligned with like what a actual reaction from even his character would be.
Do you think he thought the news reporting was like wrong? It's like false?
No. Like, oh, this could be really good for us if everyone else thinks she's dead, but she's not actually.
Like, I report that she's actually alive, and then we get her on the show or something. I mean,
that's too. Yeah, I think that's too advanced. I appreciate the like trying to find ways around it, but
I think that's I agree. It would have been. Because Blanc like lays out that he saw the deaths, whatever, and found that like interesting. Like he walks through all the things that we didn't see.
Yeah.
And he doesn't explain why he says that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a strange reaction. But other than that, I love when Blanc completely foils Miles' planned murder mystery off the bat incredibly well. And I mean, really, I was thrown off by, like, Blanc's portrayal of himself as, like, this bumbling idiot that, like, accidentally got invited and blah, 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 and had no idea why he was there and, like, fawning over everything. When in reality, he orchestrated a lot of that himself with Helen. Yeah.
He orchestrated that with Helen? Yeah. Oh, the
whole, I'm going to go up to the glass onion and distract him, and you're going to start snooping around for details, and you're going to bring me the box that you have destroyed with the hammer, which was so good. Oh, and that was actually a continuity thing that I thought was really good, was that Helen and Andy's fingernail colors were different in the scenes that we saw of them both within, like, the first 15 minutes of the movie. And I pointed that out to you, not knowing that they were actually different people until the reveal came later.
We never see Andy alive in the entire movie.
Yeah, we do.
When
they have the like flashbacks to like them becoming friends at the bar and like her writing the like, and also her running their company starts with an A. I don't remember what it's called.
Alpha.
Yeah. Yeah, she's in there.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Who do you think Miles reminds you of? I'm thinking about Alpha. Alpha is the name of the parent company for Google, by the way.
Yeah.
Alphabet.
Is it?
It's called Alphabet Group. Yeah.
I wonder if that's on purpose.
It probably. Alpha sounds like a tech company.
So I'm not like too deep into like who like the tech bros are, right? But like for the people that I do know, I feel like Miles is like if Mark Zuckerberg was an idiot.
He's like Elon Musk.
Yeah, but isn't Elon Musk like isn't he actually like smart?
No.
He's not?
No. So like, you know how he's like, I founded Tesla. He didn't found Tesla. He bought Tesla after it had already gotten kind of big and then saw it to like getting bigger. He makes a lot of his money off of contracts where he overpromises. So for example, like the Boring Company, which the like.
That's a real name?
Yeah, it's called Bore.
Oh, okay.
Like it's for like drilling in the ground and building high-speed rail.
Okay.
But actually it's just a like moving walkway for Teslas.
Oh.
But he got this big contract from California where he said like he was going to build the Hyperloop in California. And so they stopped developing like a California railway system. And the Hyperloop has not been built yet. I don't think that Elon Musk actually has like a huge technical capability. Maybe he did when he was developing PayPal.
He developed PayPal?
That's how he got. He got super rich because his parents are rich, but also he made a ton of money because he was one of the original developers on PayPal.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, there's not a lot of like tech info that I am like aware of.
I mean, I could be wrong on. I know that that's where he got his money. I don't actually know what technical capacity he worked in for PayPal. But yeah, a lot of it is like sending crazy ideas to people who work for him and then them trying to divine what he actually means by that.
Yeah. Which is exactly what Miles does to the other character played by Leslie Odom Jr. What is his name? Lionel. Yeah. Who is actually smart and like the chemist or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and we didn't even talk about like the whole purpose of like this like huge controversy and the underlying conflict was because of this like new fuel source that Alpha was trying to promote as like safe to use for at home, like basically like solar powering your house, but with this like little hydrogen like crystal that would basically Hindenburg any house because hydrogen gas is extremely small particles that can escape a lot of filtration systems and turn your house into a flammable object.
Yeah. Move fast and break things,
which is exactly what Helen does at the very end when she is just smashing. Oh, it's such a great moment. I was kind of wondering like how she was going to get all these cowards and like money mongers to turn to her side when she couldn't appeal to their morals in her kind of stand against Miles. But really it was just like the physical badassness and like symbolism of her breaking every precious item in that mansion and then throwing the power source that Blanc had given her into this fire. But I did kind of wonder how they survived that.
Yeah, the ending didn't hit for me.
How did you feel about the Mona Lisa?
I didn't feel anything. It didn't feel cathartic the way that like murder mysteries often feel at the end when like the reveal happens.
It felt very messy.
Yeah, like it didn't feel as though there was a huge turn. I guess the closest thing to that was when everyone else turned on him and was like, they started lying to support who they knew was actually right in the first place, which was the late Cassandra.
But they weren't even lying. They were telling the truth. Like, I saw him burn the old note. I saw the original note. Because I think they did all see the original note because they were all at the bar together when she wrote it.
Yeah, but they didn't. I mean, maybe, yeah. One of them was definitely lying. Leslie Odom Jr.'s character said that he saw, what's his name, Miles driving away.
Yeah,
from,
when it was actually
it wasn't him,
Duke who saw him, but Duke was dead at this point. In which case, I feel like that's fine. You know, that's a just.
I'm not bothered by it.
Yeah.
It just felt like she ended up winning. For what reason? Like what made everybody switch sides? Because they all denied her.
Yeah, I mean, they would be literally saying that they committed perjury.
Yeah.
In a huge trial, so especially for the politician, the governor, I'm so like, I don't know. Catherine Hahn is so brilliant in like every role that she has.
Mm-hmm.
Does she play Edie in We're the Millers? I think she does.
I haven't seen We're the Millers.
Oh yeah, it's on our watch list because it is one of my favorite movies. It is so fucking funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she does. If not, then the person that... Oh, yeah, she's there. I see her on the Where the Millers on the left. Yeah. She is so good. She is such a versatile actress. And her character was exactly like how you would imagine a middle-aged woman who's like a powerhouse politician trying to navigate what I imagine is a semi-conservative base during the pandemic.
Yeah.
What did you think of like the last line about his name being in the same sentence as the Mona Lisa?
That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had set that up twice. And then it sort of got revealed. I thought that was hilarious.
I thought the actual painting was a bit gimmicky.
The fact that the Mona Lisa burned down in his house.
Yeah, I was like, that seems a bit much.
I kept thinking, like, how are forensic investigators are going to see that all of these glass things were broken, and then all of them are going to have to
tell the version,
get their stories right
with
each other, so that they're lying the same way.
Yeah.
So that she doesn't end up getting put in jail for burning the building down.
Mm-hmm.
And that it really took me out of it, actually.
That's a really good... It didn't take me out of it, but I think it's because, like, so many of these movies end with just, like, the sirens coming towards the bad guy or bad guys, and, like, just the assumption of justice being carried out after that. And I just have... I'm just so used to that by now that I continue to suspend the temporary suspension of disbelief, right? Like, I continue to do that, even though I know in the back of my mind, like, having studied the law, like, there's a whole other journey to come after that to, like, actually adjudicate these, actions.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that taking you out, though. I like the idea of the forensic investigators being like, what happened?
Why is there all this glass on the floor?
Right. But maybe the explosion would have covered up just so much.
They all survived.
Yeah.
So maybe.
For some, who knows how that, yeah.
Yeah.
A bit gimmicky.
Who pressed the button that, like, made the door thing go down?
Mm-hmm. On the Mona Lisa.
On the Mona Lisa.
I wonder what I don't remember his name. The guy who was just, like, hanging out on the island because he's going through a hard time, quote unquote. Like, what did he think was going on?
Wasn't he was out smoking with Blanc?
Oh, yeah.
in the garden.
This is a no smoking garden.
It was a Big Lebowski reference.
Was it?
He goes, fucking A, man.
Oh.
And he was wearing the, like, Big Lebowski shawl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it once. It's one of my best friend's favorite movies.
Mm-hmm. There were a lot of references in this movie.
It was an intelligent movie, and also not. The plot, I don't think, was, like, the most intelligent by any measure, but the small quips, I think, were, like, highly educated in, like, at least, film and, like, pop culture.
Yeah. There was a Serena Williams.
Oh yeah, oh my god, we didn't even talk about her cameo.
She's like constantly on live for like a period of time, like in the workout room, and she's reading Gravity's Rainbow, which was which was like a metaphor that was used in the first movie.
Yeah, that was such a smart catch by you.
I just thought that was so like funny that that's what it was.
Yeah.
Also, Helen, when she's first talking with Blanc, is drinking from a mug that has the Janus Films logo on it.
Oh yeah, and you leaned over to me and you said that's this.
Yeah, they're like a really famous production company. I don't think that they actually produced the original film, because they only produced like huge hits.
Did they produce this one?
I can't imagine they would produce this one.
Well, wait. Then why would your production company who's producing this want to have a Janus Films mug? Do you think on set they just needed a mug and they were like, "What do we have lying around in the studio? Oh, we found this old Janus Films mug."
They're really like, they're very revered. They make good movies.
Are they trying to bait them for the third movie? Like, we already have you in here.
You're in our universe. They're very like closely connected to, it's probably like to like Criterion. Like, I'm sure that there are lots of like film bros who have Janus Films mugs. But yeah, I thought that was
their website
funny.
is highly stylized. It looks like a blog.
A lot of French movies.
Oui, oui. Oh my God, the Left Turn.
They produced EO. Sorry. What were you gonna say?
Which I'm going to see on Saturday.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Excellent. Birdie, her controversy being that she didn't understand that a sweatshop is like basically forced labor, human trafficking, slavery operations, and not a
factory.
Thank
that
you.
produces sweatpants.
Yes.
That was really funny.
And that's where I'm like, Peg. This is Peg had so many good comedy moments. But I feel like maybe in the original writing, she had more of like an active plot role.
Yeah.
And they just had to cut it. I always wonder about that with a lot of these films that I see like kind of gaps in either character-wise or plot-wise. I'm like, I know that so much is on the cutting room floor.
This felt like there could be more.
Yeah.
And
it was already
all the plot
long.
was underdeveloped.
It was
it was long. 2 hours and 20 minutes.
It was long already.
I blame the time travel in the middle. I felt like that could have been trimmed down a little bit.
Yeah. I have such a hard time imagining all of them so quickly turning on Andy.
Yeah.
Like, for how much like she was the center of their friend group. I tried to like put myself in that.
It didn't work.
I just couldn't imagine the like desire for money and power to so overcome a friend group that way. I mean, it sounds silly saying it out loud. Like, so many people have done that, but like really trying to think about it in my own life. I don't know. It was difficult.
Yeah, it required a lot of like suspension of disbelief. I just feel like the movie wanted more than it could have given.
Took too big of a bite out of the onion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What do you think is like your big takeaway from this film after seeing it?
I don't want to see a third one.
But I do, because I want it so. I want so much for it to be better and different. I'm very curious about like the continuing plot lines, and I love series like this. Like I love Agatha Christie, not as a person but as a writer. I've been watching like the Enola Holmes movies. Like I enjoy the reimaginings of a central detective character and like all of the shenanigans they find themselves in. And Daniel Craig is he's good. He's good and he's fun. I want to see it for the hope of a better plot.
I would love to see more murder mysteries.
In general.
I
think they're coming, because we've now had Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile and Knives Out 1 and Knives Out 2. And there's probably a few more that I'm forgetting. But those are all like in the past 5 years.
And see how they run.
See how they run, which I still need to see. Right?
No. We saw that together and we missed the first 10 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to see all together. Yes.
Yeah. I think it's on streaming now.
Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
I would rewatch it. I really like that.
We should rewatch it because we missed the entire inciting incident.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Do you have recommendations?
First we have to rate it.
Oh, we have to rate it.
And
Okay.
also, I forgot to mention, Hugh Grant has a cameo in this movie.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, that was
Yeah. Okay, what do you think that situation is?
They're
together?
They're gay.
I would love for that to be like the case.
It's 100% true.
Oh, it makes me happy.
Hugh Grant, he's very gay.
A nice Southern gentleman with a nice British artist.
Exactly.
A Southern gentleman detective.
Blanc, there's someone here for you.
But would you refer to your like life partner by their last name?
It's a term of endearment.
To just call them by their last name?
Yeah.
Okay.
I refuse to be convinced otherwise.
All right.
He was in a really good TV show called A Very English Scandal that was like based on a real thing, about like a member of parliament who was caught in a gay scandal.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's nice to see his face. Always.
It's just always such. Look at him. He's just steel, blue steel. Even now, I'm excited to watch Love Actually as the holidays come upon us.
Not me.
You don't like that movie?
No, I don't.
I understand. A lot of people don't. I do. I have a nostalgia attached to it.
Do you have a rating for this movie?
Yeah, it's like a 3.25 for me.
If you had to round that.
Round that to up or down?
Yeah.
3.
I originally rated a 3.5, and like most movies, like 5 days afterwards, I'm like, I rated that half a star too high. I think also it's a 3.
You're matching my 3.
It doesn't sit with me the way that I expected it to. It was good in some ways and
fell short.
It didn't give me what I was hoping for out of it. If you have any opinions that are different from ours, please contact us at Dillweed Society on Instagram. We would love to hear your opinion, and maybe you can come on and talk about it on the podcast. We're going to cut for a break here for ads.
Have you ever wanted to be able to nominate or vote in ceremonies like the Oscars or the Emmys? Have you ever loved a feature so much only for it to be swept under the rug? Well, worry no more, because we at the Dillweed Society host a non-exclusive movie award ceremony each year in February, and if you apply to become associate, you can nominate any movie you like and vote on the collective nominations. It's completely free. It takes 2 seconds. Just visit apply.dillweedsociety.com and we will send you all the active information. You can also browse our website, dillweedsociety.com, and see our archive, and there's a bunch of other cool stuff there. Email us at dillweedsociety@gmail.com if you have any complications or questions. All right, that's my spiel. Back to the show.
And we're back. So in the fun half, the second half, we are going to very briefly talk about some recommendations for movies, video essays, TV shows, anything that's come out this year that you should be watching. Do you want to say your recommendation first, Megan?
Sure, yeah. So my recommendation is the TV series For All Mankind. Season 3 came out this year. But to be honest, it's not really a season that you can watch on its own. So it's really a recommendation for the whole series that I am anchoring to the fact that the most recent season came out this year. Are you familiar with this show?
No, what is the show?
It is like one of my favorite shows. And I don't watch a lot of like contemporary shows. Most of the shows that I watch came out in like the 90s. And I just rewatch them wherever they happen to be. So this is on Apple Plus, and it is in its 3rd season. And the premise of the entire show, beginning with season 1, is a thought experiment. It's historical fiction on what if Russia had beat the United States to the moon, and how would that have changed not only kind of the trajectory of space exploration, but also like the history of the world, because so much of United States dominance was propelled in many ways by our insistence on the space race and Russia matching us to that race. They beat us to space.
Yeah, to every single milestone except for the fraudulent moon landing.
That never happened.
Mm-hmm.
I actually get like upset with people like that.
Why has no one else ever landed on the moon?
I have a soft spot for space and NASA and space law, and maybe in like the second half of my career I'll transition and do space law, because I think it's like my secret passion. Anyways, I love this series because it is so poignant, and the commentary is just excellent in the way that they weave the ideas of how our country could have developed differently, especially in comparison to the rest of the world. And it's from the perspective of NASA space, astronauts. And every season fast forwards about 15 years. So hopefully season 4 should actually be pretty contemporary day. Season 1 started in the 60s. So, and then season 2 was in the 80s. Season 3 was in the 90s. So we should be getting up to where we are now in season 4. Really, really excellent high drama.
Cool. I've never heard of that. I'm really excited. Apple TV has a bunch of recommendations from the Dillies this year. Their TV shows have been really good lately.
Yeah, I really haven't found a lot of contemporary shows that I actually feel invested in. I cried at the first season of this. So yeah, it really hooked me in.
I gotta watch that.
What about you?
I'd like to recommend the video essay Roblox_oof.mp3.
What a title.
It's a 2-hour video essay about this video game audio engineer named Tommy Tallarico, who has built like a mountain of lies around his own persona and is in so deep in lying about like the things that he has done, allegedly, that he can't get out anymore. And it's sort of like a deep dive into his life and the actual things that he did do and the things that he didn't do. He has one legitimate Guinness World Record, but he claims to have 7, and that involves 3 that are duplicates, 1 that is manufactured, and 2 that are just incorrectly assigned to him, that there was no research about whether he actually did the things that he did for those. But that's just like one example of this 2-hour video exploring the life of this person who claimed to have been on MTV Cribs when he never was.
These are all like easily traceable and debunkable lies.
Yes, but he says that he was the first American to ever work on the Sonic series. Not true at all. He worked on Sonic 3, which was in the 2000s, I think. It's a hilarious video. It's like unwinding an onion.
And it really fits with the theme today, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
An onion. I don't think that there's any onion theme For All Mankind. But hey, give it a watch. Let me know if you find one.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on the podcast.
It was a pleasure to have you. As always, get at us on all of our socials. Go to dillweedsociety.com, Dillweed Society on Instagram, Dillweed Society on TikTok, and get in contact. If you're interested in joining, go to apply.dillweedsociety.com. And yeah, submit movies, because now we're in the movie submission part of the season. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for listening.